Hi everyone, my name is Beldon Okeyo. In this short video, I'm going to answer some short interview questions for the teaching opportunity that I have in the US. The first question is, please tell us about yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? I'm a professional language expert with 7 years of teaching experience. I have Bachelor of Education Arts from the University of Nairobi. I majored in English and Literature. I also have Master of Arts in Linguistics from the Open University of Tanzania. I've taught different levels of students in elementary school, in secondary school, that is high school, and I've also trained teachers in teachers training colleges. I've also worked as an English language mentor in the program that took place in Rwanda sometimes back. This program was called English Language Mentorship Program, whereby the teachers were supposed to be trained to transform from Francophone to Anglophone. This is a program that I worked in and it was really successful. I love traveling and seeing new places, new things, and learning new things. And then after that, I share with my colleagues and kids. I also love reading good books, reading poetry, writing poetry. I also love visiting with friends. The next question is, why did you go into the teaching profession? When I was young, I had trouble in reading, and there's this one teacher who really influenced my life. It's called Mr. Odongo. Introduced some simple reading styles and teaching styles that really enabled me to catch up with other students who could do better than I. So in this case, this teacher introduced some simple, easy to read books that I could read, and then in the end I go and maybe narrate for him what the book talks about, and then it could help me bit by bit until by the time I became a successful reader. That really influenced my life and really impacted my life, and I just felt motivated and developed a lot of interest and passion in teaching, and that's why I'm a language teacher today. The next question is, describe your teaching experience. What subjects have you taught and what grade levels? I've taught in elementary school, I've taught in grade 5 and 6, I've taught English language and social studies. I've also taught in secondary school, that is in Kenya, from 3 and 4. That is the final classes in high school. I've taught teachers in Rwanda, that is in the English language mentorship program, teachers who are transforming from Francophone to Anglophone. And I've also lectured in different colleges in Rwanda, teaching language and also teaching educational foundation courses. The next question is, describe other work experiences. I worked in a community development project which was dealing with agriculture, education, and health. So I worked as education coordinator and the school principal, whereby I could coordinate all school activities, visit parents, initiate agricultural projects that the less privileged families could at least get their basic needs. And that project was really successful. It was a charity organization by the name City of Joy Rwanda, which operates in one of the remote parts of Rwanda. The next question is, what do you hope to be doing 5 years from now? I see myself a better teacher, and I also see myself having good experience. So it has been my dream to come up with a school project that is for special education for kids with special needs, kids who are less privileged in the community. So I dream of this to take it back to my country, Kenya, and give back to the community. So that is my dream project 5 years from now. The next question is, sorry, if I were to talk to your colleagues, how would they describe your personality? My colleagues are teachers that I work with, that I currently work with. They will say that I'm a team player. I work in team to achieve a specific objective. I'm very responsible. I always take responsibility, like when I'm on duty, I ensure that activities run well, kids are in class in good time, and all that. They'll say that I'm a good time manager. I always keep time for meeting, time for coming to school, and then I don't leave school before the time that we are supposed to leave work, that is after 8 hours. The next question is, what would your students say about you? My students will say that I'm a good listener. I always pay enough attention to students when they come to me, like when they have a problem and they want me to like get to know what their problem is. I'm also really very understanding. I'm friendly but firm. I like to help students, and I like my students. They will also tell you that I'm strict and follow the rules to the letter. And they will also say that I'm responsible as a homeroom teacher and a subject teacher. Next question is, how do you plan your instruction? As a teacher, I always plan my work for the week, the beginning of the week. I have to decide on what to teach, that's the content, and how to teach it, that is the teaching strategies and the method that I'm going to involve in teaching, the materials that I'm supposed to use when teaching are to be in place, and then I also have to set expectations and the goals for my teaching, like the objectives. What do I have to achieve in a teaching or in a lesson? And then how am I going to evaluate that I achieved my goal? The next question is, think about a class that you have taught recently. Talk about some of the teaching strategies or methods that you used. I taught in grade 7 when we were doing fiction in reading. One of the methods that I use is peer teaching. Like, I give students a project, they go home, like an assignment. I give them a topic that go and choose your favorite fiction story. You Google and then you find that, you read, and then you come back so that we can discuss that in class the following day. So when they come, we choose one story, we read, they read in groups, they discuss. Then after that, one student can come and present before the class. So they do peer teaching, and then they do think, pair, share. Like when a question is asked, students who are sitting maybe together or next to each other, they can think about it, share, and then answer the question. So when one student lead, he can be asking questions, and then other students will be answering questions from the scripts that they are reading. The next question is, how do you evaluate the progress of your students? So I use both formal and informal method of evaluation. I use test, I use quiz. I can give them assignment to go and do at home, and then I mark. I also do a lot of observation in class, like students working in teams, working in group, classroom involvement, active participation, desk work, because some students are not just good at writing tests or doing the quizzes. So I do general observation to evaluate if the skills that are taught in class are put into practice. The next question is, how do you use technology in your teaching? I plan with technology. Excuse me. Let's say that I want to teach listening and speaking. I can take a short video clip. When I come to class the following day, I have my content to deliver. So what I do, I project a 3-minute video clip, and then they observe, they listen to whatever is taking place, and then we ask questions and answer. And then there are some online programs that deal with maybe spelling checks, phonetics. With our interactive boards, we always involve students with search, and technology is really doing a lot of good work. And then a student can also record himself, and then after recording himself, then we project that, then he can check and then evaluate himself. So with that, I see my listening and speaking skills, if that is the topic that I'm handling with technology, become successful. Next question, if you have students who are noisy or non-attentive, how do you get them to be quiet and attentive? Yeah, so the first thing that I do is that I set clear instructions and then ground rules. I make sure that I build positive bonds with them, both in class and outside class. So sometimes we just have an informal chat outside the class, and I always make sure that I follow whatever we agree upon, and I positively approach students in case there is noise in class. Like when they're making noise, I can point at one student and I say, "Oh, George, I like the way you always sit down and wait for the next instruction," and that will really quiet them. The next question is, describe the most difficult problem you have dealt with as a teacher. How did you solve this problem? The most problem that I've really experienced as a teacher since I started teaching is bullying. You will find that male students bully female students, and sometimes older students bully younger students. So this becomes a problem. So what I always do, I involve guidance and counseling, and we really try to talk about the consequences of bullying and the impact of bullying with students, like the student who is involved. Like I can ask a student a question, how will you feel if maybe somebody bullies you? And out of that, we always find to come up with a solution. So I also involve problem solving skills to help them understand the repercussions and the effect of bullying others. I can also involve parents and other teachers and administrators in helping to solve these issues. Excuse me. The next question is, are you flexible? Are you able to make changes in your teaching style and method if this is required? Yes, I'm very flexible. There are sometimes that I plan and then there are interruptions in class. So how do I go about it? I have to adjust and make up for that. Sometimes impromptu meetings are called. I have to go. Sometimes I'd planned and I'm not going to fit into what I planned to do. So what do? I have to make adjustments and then make up for such after some time. The last question is, teaching in South Carolina will be very challenging. How do you deal with stress. So as a teacher, I've encountered a lot of stress, like in teaching, because different students come from different backgrounds and they come with their problems, and all these are directed to you. So I develop what we call positive mental attitude towards students and my environment. I deal with problems as they come. I don't postpone. I try to not to be overreactive. I try to be very understanding so that I understand the problem and deal with it amicably. And then I also try to deal with things as they come. I don't postpone, so that I serve first things first. Like, my priority as a teacher is to teach. If there are some stressful issues, I think teaching is my priority. I won't say that I'm ready to teach in the US. This is because I've really traveled a lot in the States. I've visited different schools, different elementary schools, different high schools. I've also visited colleges and vocational training institutions. I've also visited schools with kids with special needs. And I think with the experience that I have, this has really equipped me to be ready to teach in the US. Thank you, everyone. Bye.